Hello, hello. It's 9 o'clock. It's class time. Hi, I'm coming to you from Vancouver. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, Vancouver time. I am live in the studio at the Canadian College of English Language. Hello, hello, hello. Lots of people in the chat already. Finally, I know, finally he pops out. I gave you a little taste. I popped in there by accident. I pressed the wrong button trying to get my keyboard. Madiha is asking how I am. I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Steve Lynn is here. Chris E. Rosa. Julian has changed his name. Sway Venom. Sway Venom 6672. Good to see you. J. Pablo from Mexico. JB87's back. Where exactly are you now? JB87, are you asking me that? I am, if you're asking me, where exactly am I am at 1050 Alberni Street in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. At the Canadian, on the 4th floor of the Canadian College of English Language in the studio. That's where I am. If you were asking me. If you're not, I apologize. Yeah, that gray spot isn't going. That gray spot's only going to get bigger, guys. It's not going to go away. All right. So yeah, it's a good day. It's Friday. It was a bit of a hectic start here because Julian, not Sway Julian in the chat, but our Julian, who's the IT wizard behind this whole class. Oh, Zach Taylor just gave me $2. Thank you, Zach. I'll buy you a coffee sometime. Yeah, Julian's not feeling well, so he's the one who usually sets up this stream, and that means that he had to show me how to set up the stream with the computers and everything on the phone, which was interesting. Yeah, so hopefully it all works out. I'm not a technical guy. I'm the English teacher. I'm just the pretty face, right? I'm just the talent. So let's hope that everything works out. Okay, but if we have technical problems, please be patient with me, as I am patient with you. Okay, so I hope you guys are good. If it's your first time in the class, hi, I'm Shaun. I'm going to be your teacher for the next hour. If you're a first timer, tell me in the chat there. Roy Rorot Edward. Pretty face? Yeah, that was sarcasm. Yeah, sarcasm. Trey Brown's here. Cool. And of course, a lot of regulars. Milena's here. French Leo's here. If you're new, yeah, let us know so we can welcome you. All right, so people are asking me what the class is going to be about. Okay, no more chit-chat. Let's get down to business. If you're new to the class, if you have questions during the class, put them in the chat, and I will try to answer them. I will try to answer them as best I can, as often as I can, as quickly as I can, okay? So let's jump in here. Let's go down here, get rid of that. Here we go. So, yes, today we are going to continue with what we started last week, okay? If you were in class last week, you might remember what the class was. Patricia Andriata is a first time. Samira is a first timer. Mustafa. Donskister. Lucas. Lots of first timers. Good. Welcome. Luana's back. Good to see you. Blurry Face. I mean, Blurry Face is another person, not Luana. All right, so let's get into it, guys. Last week, if you remember, last week I started the class with a bit of a memory test, right? I showed you a bunch of pictures, and I tested your memory, how many you could remember. Well, I'm not going to test your memory today, but I am going to test your general knowledge of geography and places in the world. Okay, I'm going to, Unit 10 in 120 is what we're looking at today. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Okay. So and some of you even remember the pictures from last week, right? Castle, banana, hamburger. So I'm not going to ask you to tell me what those were. I'm going to show you new pictures, and I want you to tell me what these places are, okay? Like, where are these places? How many of these places or things can you recognize? Can you identify? And then, of course, I will tell you why afterwards. We're not just doing it for no reason, of course. So just because I haven't mentioned it yet, remember that this is the 120 level class in Smart English here at the Canadian College, which means it is the intermediate level. That's the lesson today, is that intermediate kind of middle level. But of course, everyone is welcome to join. Butterfly on a dog's nose. That's exactly right. That was last week. Now, I'm not going to show you the butterfly again, although that was super cute. And I'm not going to go super fast. So I'm going to show you a picture like this. You tell me, what am I looking at? What is this? Okay, some of them are easy. Some of them might be a little bit more difficult, right? How many of you know what this is or where this is? Okay. Again, might be easy, might be difficult. It depends on how much you know, how much you get out and see things and travel, right? Unit 10 is all about travel. What are these places? Where are these places? What are they called? What do you see here? So some people are saying that's Nevada. Interesting. All right, we got this one here. Good, good, good. This one's a hard one. This one's a hard one. I just threw that out. Some of them are easy. That first one was probably easy. Okay. Patricia's going full français there with Le Tour d'Eiffel. Very nice. This one might be a tricky one too. But we do often have students from this place in the class, although it's very late at night there, or very early in the morning. What place is this? Just a couple more. This place. This place. Mountains are hard, yeah, but I mean, I know, obviously identifying a mountain is hard, so if you really think about it, if I'm going to show you a picture of a mountain, which mountain do you think I'm going to show you a picture of? Okay. Oh, some people thought that was Machu. That's not Machu Picchu, but I can see why you'd think that. Hangover saying that this is Russia. Dennis, you got that one, yeah? And then maybe this one's a tricky one too. Anybody know this one? This is the last one. You guys are doing well. And try to get as specific as you can, right? So not just what city is this, but who can identify the street? What street is this? It's a night market? Okay. Interesting. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning here. Again, I will tell you why in a minute. I'm not really testing your knowledge of landmarks and geography, but this one's this one I think is the easiest one of them all. Obviously, you guys said this is Paris. Very specifically, this is Paris in France. It is the Eiffel Tower, right? That's what we're looking at. Very famous, recognizable landmark, the Eiffel Tower. Good. This next one, and again, because I'm showing you a picture of a mountain, obviously mountains, individual mountains are hard to identify. So I'm showing you one mountain. This is Mount Everest. Okay, maybe the most famous mountain in the world. Some of you also said the Himalayas, which is also true, right? Mount Everest is in the Himalayas, and the Himalayas are in Nepal. Okay, so if you said any of these three, then you are on the right track. Paluxio. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but good for you. You've got You've got a good eye. Okay, I'll come back to you. Now this one, some people said it's Brazil. Yeah, it could be Brazil. It's definitely South America because this is the Amazon River. The Amazon River. Rabi Sapkota is from Nepal. Cool. Very cool. Okay, so that's the Amazon River. This one, I don't think anybody got this. Some of you got the other ones. I didn't see anybody get this one, unless you said Canada. If you said Canada, that's right. More specifically, if you said Alberta, yeah. But this place is called Lake Louise. Very beautiful place in Canada. I'm not too far away from Vancouver, probably about a 10-hour drive. Sway Venoms, you kind of suck. You said Canada, there you go. Yeah, it's very nice turquoise water. This is Lake Louise. This is in Alberta, Canada. Blurryface said North America. Marianne, there you go. A little late, but you got it. Yeah. All right, cool. So, a couple more. And somebody's saying that the Himalayas are in India. I realize that, but I believe they're also in Nepal. I mean, I'm pretty sure Mount Everest is in Nepal. If I'm incorrect about that, then please tell me, because I've been living a lie for a long time. JB saying the fjords of Scandinavia. Well, there are definitely some similarities between Canadian geography and some of those northern European countries, for sure. This is not Machu Picchu. This is the Philippines. These are rice fields in the Philippines. Okay? You guys said this is Russia. More specifically, this is the Hermitage Museum, or the Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia. Okay? And one more, and then I'll tell you why. And yeah, who was it that got it? What was the name? Paluxio. Paluxio got this one. Good for you. It is Bourbon Street. This is a very famous street in New Orleans, which is a city in Louisiana or in the United States. So Bourbon Street, New Orleans, the United States. Good stuff. Some of you guys did really well on that. So why? Blurry Face, thank you for confirming my belief of where Mount Everest is. Okay, so why am I asking you about Bourbon Street and Mount Everest? Well, of course, we're going to continue our lesson on articles. Okay, now we started this last week talking about indefinite and definite articles, a and the, and we asked the question also when to use an article and when to use no article. Now, when I asked this question, if I go way, I'm going to go up to the top of the chat. So many answers came in. When I first started asking the questions of what do you see, I saw lots of Eiffel Tower, Alps, mountains. What else do I see here? Amazon River. Now this is good, and this is what I was looking for, because oftentimes when we're talking about these places, these proper nouns, we forget about the articles. Okay? Now this, unfortunately, is something you're going to really have to remember and make mistakes with. There's really no way of thinking your way through it necessarily. It's just a bunch of rules. Benchi, you've never been to Paris? Well, I recommend you go to Paris. Everybody should go to Paris at least once. Right, Marianne? Or French Leo? Or somebody else? Somebody else said they're from France in there. Okay, so the question today is article or no article. This is what we're going to be looking at, because again, students often make mistakes with this. We make a lot of mistakes with missing articles or using articles when you shouldn't. So if you don't know what I'm talking about at all, you can always go back and watch last week's class as well. French Leo was 30 years in Paris. Cool. I was there for a couple days. Not quite the same thing, but All right, so the question is no article or article. And we're going to start with proper nouns, meaning the names of places, okay? The names of places. All right. Marianne says Paris sucks. Okay. So we use the with the names of oceans, seas, and rivers. Okay, so today we're talking a lot about geography because Unit 10 is about travel. Okay, so the names of oceans, seas, and rivers, you use the, right? You say the Pacific Ocean, right? Or the Mediterranean, or the Mediterranean Sea. And then this lovely looking thing, which is the Uvac River in Serbia, I think this river's in Serbia. But any kind of river, you put the. We've got the Fraser River, the Mississippi, the Amazon. With rivers, oceans, and seas, as well as a couple other bodies of water that you're not going to use very often, like Gulf and Straits. You use the. Devrim is saying the Black Sea. Exactly. Cool. I would like to take a little boat down this river. I think that would be cool. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a lesson without some exceptions, right? Now, this is the crazy thing about English, obviously. Oceans, seas, rivers. You use the, right? However, you don't use an article with names of lakes. Okay, so if you remember Lake Louise that I mentioned before, or this beautiful looking place, which I believe is Lake Baikal in Russia, right? The deepest lake in the world, so they say. Ori Lake. Well, there are going to be some exceptions for sure, but typically with lakes, you don't use an article, right? Alice Lake, Green Lake, Lake Ontario, Lake Erie. Yasmina, you say the Tigris. Good question. So the Tigris, yeah, because it's the river, you have to say the Tigris, the Euphrates, the Thames, the Seine, always the. Now Vinci is saying maybe it's because you put the lake before it, and that's a good point. But the thing about lakes to remember is that sometimes, depending on the lake, it can be Lake Baikal, or you can say Alice Lake. Okay, so either one is acceptable. It's kind of like mountain. Like some mountains are Mount Everest, some mountains are Grouse Mountain, right? But either way, with Swan Lake, Jerry says, oh, very nice. Swan Lake, no article. Okay. Yeah, you just want to dive right in. I know, it looks so nice. Yeah. Okay. So this is water so far, okay? These are the rules. Now, we're going to go through lots of different rules today, and then I'm going to put you to the test, okay? So the next one, we use the with names of hotels, theaters, museums, and even bridges, right? So again, a lot of this has to do with travel. Like if you're traveling to another place, another city, you're going to see lots of names of hotels and theaters and museums, bridges. A lot of people are asking questions about countries and continents, and I will come to that in a couple minutes. Yeah. Yomara says yes. Good. The Trump Hotel. Excellent. Excellent example. Okay, so names of hotels, most theaters, like famous theaters, we use the, right? So the Fairmont Hotel, right? The Fairmont Hotel. The Sydney Opera House, very famous theater, right? The Sydney Opera House. The Glass Bridge in China, okay. The Golden Gate Bridge, maybe, Palacio. The Louvre, of course, is the museum. We said the Hermitage Museum before, all right? Galleries and museums, we use the. And I said bridges before. Some people said the Golden Gate Bridge, the Lions Gate Bridge. Aha. Now there are sometimes some exceptions. And Aldi Hamati didn't take very long before coming up with London Bridge, which, yes, London Bridge, no article there. Okay. Definitely some exceptions. Okay. Now, no article. Names of parks and stations. Abdul Manan is asking a question. Every noun needs article or some adjective before it. Yeah, if you're talking common nouns, like we said last week, every noun needs, if it's singular and countable, it needs some kind of article, adjective, quantifier, or determiner or something before it. Yeah. Jerry, Harbor Bridge too. Oh, you guys are good. Yeah. Okay. So there are exceptions. Just to keep you guessing. Good one, Harbor Bridge. Okay. Exceptions drive me crazy? Yeah, Rowdy Dowie. Exceptions drive me crazy. Exceptions are what make it interesting for me. I don't know. All right, so names of parks and stations. Famous parks and stations, you don't need an article for the most part. So again, we're talking about travel. I feel like being a bit of a travel agent for Vancouver. This is a picture of Vancouver. I don't know. I'm somewhere. Where am I right now? I don't know. I'm over here somewhere. You can't see me. I'm behind this building. This is the Fairmont Hotel. But this large green patch behind the downtown area of Vancouver, right, is called Stanley Park. So Stanley Park, no article there. People are asking where I'm from. Yeah, I'm Canadian. Yellowstone National Park. Good one. Yeah, good. Okay. So, and stations, I said. Things like over here in Vancouver on the train in this area is Stadium Station. Stadium Station. Down here, around here somewhere is Cambie Station, right? So with SkyTrains or bus stations, you typically don't use the. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Rules give you headaches. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give everybody a big headache, right? That's my goal for the day. Makes me feel better about myself. Now, Busher is saying Stanley is the name of a person, and that's why it doesn't take an article. Now, that's a good point, that oftentimes we don't use the article with the person's name. However, there are many other parks that don't have the name Stanley that don't take the article as well. Central Park in London, basically every park in Vancouver, as we said, the national parks, Yellowstone National Park, Banff National Park, right? Typically parks, no article. People are asking what the name of this city is. That's Vancouver. That's where I am. Okay, no article. Names of continents. Now people were asking about this. Continents, countries, provinces, states, cities, streets. Okay, so before you flip your table over and smash a glass and start yelling at me in the chat, there are a couple exceptions. Okay? There are a couple exceptions. So don't get angry at me yet. Okay? So continents, countries, provinces, states, cities, streets mostly don't take an article. Okay? Like this place is in Istanbul, and you could say part of Istanbul. Istanbul is a city, so there's no article. Okay? Part of Istanbul is in Europe. Whoops, part of it is in Asia, right? You've got the bridge, you've got the European side, the Asian side, right? So the continents, Europe, Asia, North America, no article. Turkey, Blurry Face is saying. Marianne, you give up? You give up? That's just what your teacher wants to hear, right? Especially a former CCEL student, it warms my heart to hear you say you're giving up. Okay. All right, so continents, as I said, no article. Typically, cities, we said Paris, France, no article, right? Alberta, Canada, no article. Now, of course, there are exceptions to the country rule, okay? The country rule. There are some countries with the word kingdom, republic, united, or union in there. If they have those words in there, kingdom, republic, united, union, you're going to take the article. Okay, yeah, Diari is saying the United Arab Emirates. Perfect. You've got the Republic, the People's Republic of China, or the Republic of Korea, right? The United States, the United Kingdom. And then, of course, you've got these two exceptions there, the Netherlands and the Philippines, right? So for whatever reason, these two, right, French Leo is just one step ahead of you there. The Netherlands, the Philippines, they take the article, okay? Yeah, usually what with of they're saying, yeah, sure. And now, of course, somebody's saying the Hague. I think that was, who was mentioning the Hague? Paluxio again, yeah. The Hague is an example of a city that takes an article. Very uncommon, though. Yeah, they're plural. The Netherlands, the Philippines. Technically, I guess they're plural. The Bahamas, right? Okay. And again, I'm going to put you to work here. She lives in the Czech Republic, right? So you've got the article there with the Czech Republic. I think that's blurry, but I think that's the famous bridge in Prague back there. Okay. And of course, he recently visited the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. All right. He recently visited the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we're going to talk about islands in a minute, too. This sentence is based on a true story. Okay? All right, so I think maybe 2 or 3 more rules, and then I'm going to make you guys do some work for me. So we use the with names of mountain ranges and groups of islands. Okay? Again, looking at geography, looking at travel. So mountain ranges, like the Alps, the Andes, the Rockies here in Canada, and groups of islands. The Hawaii Islands, sure. The Canary Islands, people said. I mean, the Philippines, I believe, is a group of islands as well. I could be wrong, but I think there's more than one island. The Bahamas as well. So she wanted to see the Himalayas, right? The Himalayas. Or we traveled to the Virgin Islands in the Caribbean. The Caribbean. Yeah, Rosa, you're asking a question. You're saying the Caribbean with a question mark? You would say the Caribbean because it's the Caribbean Sea, right? That's the sea. Good. Now, just to make everybody crazy, of course, you say with groups of mountains, groups of islands, Virgin Islands. So yeah, it's a group of islands, and yeah, no article with names of individual mountains and individual islands. So if you're looking at a group of mountains, you say the. One mountain, no the. Steve Lynn is asking about straits. Yes, straits need the. I would say basically every no, I'm not going to say every. Most bodies of water, larger bodies of water, take the, Steve, right? So straits like the Bering Strait, the Gulf of Mexico, the English Channel, right? You use the. Rivers, use the. As we said, lakes, no. For a human name, well, it depends on, well, if you're talking about like Shaun, like the Shaun, maybe I'll talk about that later if I have time. Okay, so individual mountains. She wanted to climb Mount Everest, okay? So again, you've got no article there. Okay. And Mount Everest is in the Himalayas, so you've got no article with an article. The Indian Ocean, good. Like the one and only Shaun. Butchart Gardens is on Vancouver Island. So Vancouver Island, Vancouver City is not on Vancouver Island, but it's not that far from here. And this lovely little place is on Vancouver Island. Yes, I am the Shaun, the one and only Shaun. Okay, well, before we get into that, I want to see how you guys are doing. I want to see how much of this stuff you've picked up. So I'm going to jump out of here. I'm going to go over to my notes. I'm going to go full screen. And I'm going to make this as big as possible. Now again, Unit 10, as I said, is all about travel. So this is a really brief, not super interesting description and story about a trip to New York. Okay, so what I'd like you guys to do, I'm going to put the music on. I'm going to disappear. I'm going to pop off the screen like that. And I'm going to put the music on, and I want you guys to put the missing articles in this paragraph. Now, you can either put an article, you can say the, or nothing, right? So some of this might have to do with last week as well. So we had such a great trip to New York. New York is a city, no article, okay? I'm going to jump out for about 2 minutes, and then we'll go over it together, okay? Get to work. I'm going to disappear. Go for it. All right. Actually, let me make this a little bit smaller over here, just because, yeah, I don't want my big melon head blocking some of the answers there. Okay. Lots of good stuff coming in. Leo's popping an aspirin. Good for you. Yeah, whatever gets you through it, right? All right, now let's go through it together. So many answers coming in. Just for speed, for efficiency, I'm going to go through right now and just put in the answers, okay? So we had, and if you have questions about it, yeah, put your questions in the chat, and I'll try to answer them. JB87, okay, I'm going to remember that question. So we had such a great trip to New York, right? New York's a city. No article there, right? We stayed in. Now, B was really about last week, not so much about article or no article, but about a or the, definite or indefinite, right? So some of you said we stayed in, let me make that smaller so I'm not, there we go. Some of you said we stayed in the hotel. We stayed in the hotel. Now, sometimes this would be okay, depending on where you are. But if you say the hotel, it sounds like there's only one. Now, anybody who's ever been to New York or heard about New York, Fifth Avenue, and I already gave the answer away there. There's no article with Fifth Avenue because it's a street name, okay? Okay, it's a street name. So no articles with street names, but Fifth Avenue, very long, very famous kind of street in Manhattan, in not Vancouver, in New York. So there's more than one hotel on Fifth Avenue, okay? So I wouldn't say the hotel. I would say a hotel. We stayed in a hotel on Fifth Avenue because New York, very busy, lots of hotels. Yeah, French Leo, you got it. Good. Okay. Bharat, you're asking explain before putting an article or no article. Sure, I'm trying. That's what we're doing here for sure. Okay, so New York, we stayed in a hotel because it's not specific on Fifth Avenue. If we got very specific and we said we stayed in the hotel on the corner of Fifth Avenue and whatever street it intersects with, okay, maybe. So not far from, D is the Metropolitan Museum of Art, okay, because with museums, art galleries, the names we typically use the, right, article. We say the Museum of Modern Art, the American Museum of Natural History, the Vancouver Art Gallery. Okay, so not far from the Metropolitan Museum of Art and Grand Central Station. No article with Grand Central because it's a station. Station names, usually, no article. You guys are getting a headache yet? All right, I'm just getting warmed up. All right? Okay. Every morning after breakfast, we would take a walk in Central Park, and I already mentioned this one earlier. No article with Central Park, and then go to see the sights. Oh, I should have put one there just to test you on that one. Go to see the sights. Rowdy is saying, if we knew the hotel name, would we put the? Yeah, right. If you said we stayed in the Hilton on Fifth Avenue, absolutely. Good. Next, we saw the Empire State Building, right? The Empire State Building, because there's only one of those. Wall Street, because it is a street, so no article there. Who was asking me that? Somebody was asking me a question about that. Who was it? I don't know, so much stuff streaming past me here on the chat. But no, you can't say the Wall Street. It's just Wall Street, because it's a street, no articles, okay? But you would say the Apollo Theater, a very famous historical theater, all right, with Apollo. So French Leo, you say you consider Grand Central Station as a museum because you're a tourist. That makes sense, but it's not a museum. It's just a train station. Nice try, though. Right, so Bharat is saying the Grand Krishna Hotel. That's exactly right. Good. Okay, so the Apollo. One day we took a boat to Staten Island. Okay, no article there. On our last night in town, we walked down to the East River, which is on one side of Manhattan, right? You've got the Hudson River, the East River, and we went across the Brooklyn Bridge. Unlike London Bridge or Harbor Bridge. Samira is asking, why the sites? Why the sites? Well, because they are specific. Good question. We went to see the sights of New York City, right? To go sightseeing. So these specific places, landmarks, these are the sites. We use a definite because we're talking specifically about New York. Dreamcatcher got one wrong and you got a sad face? Man, your expectations, you're too hard on yourself. One wrong, I think that's pretty good. Okay? All right, so this is good. Now let's get back into this. Again, if you guys have more questions, you can pop them my way. But I am going to go back into the notes and get out of there and talk about other reasons or other times that we use an article or no article, okay? Because there are a couple other rules that I want to talk about today. Okay, so unique people or things. Unique people or things. Mike Hammer is saying, can we say the Big Ben? No, Big Ben is just the name of the clock there, right? So not the Big Ben, just Big Ben. Good question. So unique, oftentimes when there is only one thing, you use the definite article, okay? If there's only one of them, you use the definite article. Think about, we just saw the Empire State Building, for example, or the Great Wall of China. You look at this, I mean, you've got the sun, the sky, the ground, right? Usually, right, the moon, exactly. The Shaun, exactly, the Shaun. Yeah, right up there. It's the sky, the sun, the moon, the Shaun. In that order. I'll accept that order. Okay? Usually the Trump wall. Okay, yeah, I'm not getting into that. You got the moon, isn't that nice? And the Queen, right? The Queen, isn't she nice too? The Shaun, the Queen, same thing. Okay? Well, not the same thing, but unique people, typically. Okay? But sometimes, just keep in mind, I am going to jump out here because, of course, there's always going to be exceptions. Sometimes you will see the indefinite article, the indefinite article with sky and moon, for example. If I said, for example, last night there was a full moon, right? Now you might see the earth, right? Samira's saying, right? Although sometimes we just say earth, the world. Good for you. Now sometimes you will see a full moon, because in this case we're talking about the different kinds of moon, right? But if we're just talking about the moon, as in our moon, we use the. The planet. Yeah, right. Good one, Rosa. Good. And the same thing with sky. I mean, sometimes if we say, in the morning there was a, what do we say, beautiful blue sky. A beautiful blue sky. Now again, we're kind of talking about the different kinds of sky: blue sky, gray sky, clear sky, kind of pinkish orange, right? Is this helping you when I do this? Okay. Does this make it clearer when yeah? I haven't been out in the sun. Are you telling me I'm pale? I'm ghostly? Well, yeah, of course I'm in this room all alone with no windows for you guys. I need more sun. Yeah? No, I agree with that. Okay, so let's go back to the Queen here. Hangover is asking why the Shaun. Sorry, Hangover. We're just joking. You don't say the Shaun. Okay. Yeah, the Shaun is not okay. That was me making a I'm sorry. That was me referring to a joke that somebody made earlier today. The joke is that there is only one Shaun, but that's not true. There are lots of Shauns. There's Sean Connery, there's Sean Penn, there's a few other ones too. Okay? So, in terms of being unique, it's the same with superlative adjectives, right? When you use est or the most, you use the article. All right, so the definite article goes with the biggest, the longest, the strongest, the best, the most expensive, the most successful. Sway venom. Is there more article words? What do you mean? What do you mean, Julian? Is there more article words? You mean a, an, and the. Those are your articles. Okay. Shaun the sheep. Shaun the sheep. Right, Sean Penn. Sean Connery, Shaun the Sheep, Shaun of the Dead, and me. Okay, so she is the smartest person I know, right? When you're using these superlative adjectives, you use the because you're saying she is the one. She is unique. She is the smartest person I know. Now, Akula is saying no article before proper nouns, but be careful because we just went over a whole list of proper nouns that take articles, right? Like proper names, like the Great Wall of China, technically a proper noun, right? Okay. He's the most aggressive player on the team, the most aggressive. Okay. And a couple more special cases. How are we doing for time here? I don't want to keep you guys too late. I know some of you are getting very sleepy. Okay, special cases. The. We use the, oh yeah, this is a good one. We use the with an adjective to make a general noun. Like if you think about adjectives like young, poor, rich, beautiful, if you put the before young, the young means all young people. Okay? It becomes a noun, the young. So be patient with the young. French Leo saying the rich. Yeah, right. The rich. Okay? The poor, the dead, Yasmina says. Yeah. Happy Friday. The dead. The dead and the dying, the sick, the elderly. Okay? Now, Yomera is saying the poor people. Now, I would say probably just poor people, just like here, right? You say the rich means rich people, but I wouldn't say the rich people, typically. The zombies, the educated, the living, that's more optimistic. The homeless, right? Because homeless is an adjective. Sometimes people use homeless as a noun, but it isn't. You cannot say a homeless. It has to be a homeless person. The homeless, all homeless people. This is one way of using the article to create a noun. Well, Cedro, you'd say Shaun is the youngest of the Smart Live teachers. I don't think that's true. I don't know if that's true. I don't think I'm the youngest. Yeah. I'm hundreds of years old, right? I've been around for centuries. The brainless, the foolish. Okay. The French, right? Sometimes we often use, not always, but certain nationalities we can use with the to create the noun, right? French is the language, but the French are the people, the Spanish, the English, the Chinese. And hangover, you're just one step ahead of me there, yeah. Okay, yeah. Marianne is saying the Sudan. Yeah, good one. I have heard that before. I don't know why people would say the Sudan. Because it's definitely not necessary, Marianne. I wouldn't say the Sudan. I would just say Sudan. But some people say the Ukraine as well, which is unnecessary. You can just say Ukraine, not the Ukraine. I don't know. I'm going to get back to you on that one, Marianne. That's a good question. The macaroons, the Sudanese. There you go. So the French are famous for their food, right? The macaroons. The English are famous. The English are famous, hangover, for their manners. Yeah. Well, they're not super famous for their food, I guess. All right. Another use of the word the is speaking generally about inventions and technology, plants, animals, and body parts. All right? We're talking about anatomy. Now this is interesting for me because last week we said when you use the, you speak specifically about something, like the coffee. I like coffee, all coffee. I like coffee. I like the coffee from that cafe, right? Usually the is specific, but not always. Sometimes we use the to speak generally about certain things, like the smartphone. Okay? The smartphone has changed the way we interact with others. Look at her, so happy with her smartphone, right? So the smartphone doesn't mean, I'm not talking about her smartphone down here, okay? Oh, I'm behind. I'm blocking her smartphone, right? There's her smartphone. Okay, so she's got a smartphone right behind me. There's a smartphone, okay? French Leo saying the mouth. Yeah, right. So no, I'll show you an example in a minute. Julian, not the love, no. But look at what I'm going to do with this sentence. The smartphone does not mean her smartphone. It means all smartphones. I'm going to take this article. Look what I'm going to do. Get it out of there. Start a sentence with smartphone, put an S on it, change the verb, and I'm saying smartphones have changed the way we interact with others, right? Smartphones, all smartphones. But we can take that plural general noun and we can make it singular and put the with it, and now it's general. This is the same thing. Smartphones have changed. The smartphone has changed the way we interact with others. Okay? Somebody saying the internet? Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. So French Leo, you were talking about body parts. Look at this. We say the heart is about the size of a fist, right? About this big. So the human heart is the size of your fist. The Lion King. Right, so again, we're talking about all hearts. All human hearts are about the size of a fist, okay? And it's the same thing. Let me jump out of here to my notes. And it's the same thing with plants, animals. If I say the cheetah is the fastest animal on the planet. Ooh, look at that. So many articles there. Okay. Yeah, I was the smartphone. Yeah. The dinosaur. Again, if you're talking about all dinosaurs. Now, in this sentence, the cheetah means cheetahs. All cheetahs. Cheetahs are the fastest animals on the planet, right? Now there you got your superlative there, and then you've got the planet because for us there's only one. For now, you never know the future. Yasmina, the moons. Well, maybe the moons of Saturn, something like that. Yomer. You're asking the heart is like your fist or my fist? Yeah, I don't think all human hearts are the size of just Shaun's fist. Yeah, the Shaun's fist. Right. It means all cheetahs exactly hangover, right? And the same thing with if I say the rose, or no, the maple tree is indigenous. Did I spell that right? Check my spelling. That doesn't look right. Did I spell indigenous right? Check my spelling on the internet there. Get back to me. Marianne's leaving. Bye, Marianne. See you next time. Enjoy the macaroons. Okay. The maple tree is indigenous to Canada. It means it grows there naturally. Okay. That doesn't look right to me. But in this case, I'm saying all maple trees. All maple trees are. Anyone's checking my spelling? Yeah, there you go. I knew it wasn't right. That was the mistake of the week, by the way. There we go. Indigenous. I don't have time to check my spelling. I outsource it, right? Okay. Thank you, Marianne and Rosa, for that, and French Leo. Barada saying, "Can I show you the maple tree?" Well, the maple tree. I mean, yeah. Just look at a picture. Go to any image of Canada. Google maple tree, and you'll see it. Okay. So this is what we're talking about. These general things, body parts, the heart, the lungs, the brain. The Dutch. There you go. And maybe one more, and I think I mentioned this last week. And Roy is saying, yes, saying maple trees are indigenous. That's exactly right. Systems of transportation, we mentioned this last. Yeah, Nora, your hearts do grow up with you. Yeah. I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but that the human eye is always the same size. I don't know if that's true. The eye doesn't get bigger, is that right? I don't know. I'm not a... I don't know, it's fine. Systems of transportation. He takes the bus to school, the subway closes at 2 o'clock. So when we're talking about the bus, the train, the subway, we often use the. Okay. All right. So we're running low on time. I was going to get you guys to do some practice, but maybe I'll just give it to you for homework there, okay? So what we're going to do instead is, of course, the mistake of the week. Where did the other mistake of the week go? What's going on here? Oh, okay. Usually it's more dramatic, right? Usually there's something to see, but no, it's just the mistake. That was my mistake of the week. The nose never stops growing, yes, especially if you're telling lies, right? The mistake of the week. Oh, I don't know, hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about there, or you think I'm crazy. So, if you are new to the class, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to put a sentence up on the screen, and you are going to try to find the mistake and tell me what is wrong with this sentence. All right. Sway Venom, you win already? Okay, so I'm going to put a sentence up here. It contains a common mistake. Okay? I want you to find me the mistake and put it in the chat. Whoever is the fastest on the draw is the best. If you are the fastest, you are the best student on the planet Earth. Okay, you guys ready? All right, ready or not, here it is. I'm going to pop out for a minute, 10 seconds, find me the mistake. Go. All right, lots of answers coming in on the chat. And for some of you, I tricked you, and I was trying to because I'm a mean person. I appear nice, but deep down I'm mean. Okay? And I like to trick people on the internet. So what I usually do is throw in something to kind of mislead you a little bit, just to test you. And I definitely did trick some of you. Some of you are, maybe you know my tricks, or maybe you just missed what I was trying to trick you with and you got it, okay? So the sentence is, after the accident, she spent several days in hospital before she was released and taken to home. Because we're focusing on articles, a lot of people notice that there's no article before hospital. And you said that's the mistake. Oh, it should be, she spent several days in the hospital. And that's true. If I said the hospital, that would be fine, okay? But actually, in hospital is not a mistake, because you don't need the article with hospital in this context, in this case. And I'll come back to it. I'll tell you why in a minute, okay? The mistake here has nothing to do with articles, actually. And some of you saw it right away. Who was the winner? The winner is Alash, I think, was the fastest. Followed by, I think, Fabio. Dreamcatcher, close behind. Paluxio, you were close there too, okay? So Alash is the winner, fastest on the draw, because the mistake is 2, okay? Right, so you don't say taken to home. You don't say go to, I need to go to home, right? Get that out of there. You don't need to with home, okay? It's a very common thing that students make. Just a really little mistake, little tiny mistake, right? I can crush my head here, yeah? So it's a little tiny mistake, but it's a mistake nonetheless. So don't put to with home. Don't say, whoops, I'm going to home. Just say, I'm going home. I was taken home. Yeah? Now, going back to hospital, now I'll tell you this real quickly because we're running low on time, but let me pop out into my notes here. And I'm sure some of you already know this, but there is a list of a few words that we don't need the article with, depending on how we use it. So words like school, prison, bed, what do we say, hospital. Well, university is up there with school. It's the same thing. say university. You say college. Down here you can say, whoops, why is that so small? And here you could say church. You could say probably the same thing with, I would say, with mosque or temple. Okay, now these words, when you are speaking about these places, but not talking about the physical place, not talking about the building, but you're talking about the purpose for the place, the reason why people are there. If you're focusing on the purpose of the place, then you don't use an article. Okay, so for example, I say the most common one, I'm going to bed, right? You say, I'm going to bed. You don't say, I'm going to the bed, right? Javier from Colombia, hey, welcome. So I know that some of you after this class are going to bed. You're not going to the bed, right? Because you're not talking about the physical bed, right? You're talking about sleep. You said, I'm going to sleep, right? So because you're talking about sleeping, you don't need the article, okay? If you were talking about the physical thing, right, you might use the and say, for example, can you help me move the bed, right? Now you're talking about the physical thing. And it's the same thing with all of these words. Now, hospital, we said she was in hospital. I mean, she was there because she was sick, right? So you don't need that article there. All right? Prison is the same thing. If you say, my dad is in prison. My dad is in prison. I mean, that's not based on a true story, but that's just an example sentence there, okay? He's at home right now. My dad is in prison means that he is being punished, he is locked, he is a prisoner there, right? So we're talking about the punishment. Or we say, I finish school at 4 o'clock. Okay, I finish school, not I finish the school. Samira, you're already in bed? Man, I'm jealous. Actually, I wish I could teach this class from bed. That would be comfortable. Nora's saying that's a horrible. Why? My dad's in prison. Well, he was. How about this? He was framed. Okay, he was innocent. Yeah. Now Thrashera is asking about shop. No, you'd say I'm going to the shop. Yeah. Jail is the same. Yeah. All right. Some people. Yeah. So Samara's saying I'm already in bed. Hopefully nobody's saying I'm already in prison. Or if you're watching this from prison, that's good. It's a good place to improve your English. I guess you've got some time. Improve your English. Hospital, church, the same thing. I mean, if we look at church, we say his grandmother goes to church once a week. Okay? His grandmother goes to church once a week. Doesn't say to the church, to church, because you're talking about praying. You're talking about worship and prayer. Okay? So that's why in the hospital is okay. Okay? And that's the lesson for today, guys. So anybody who's in the Smrt class, I'm going to say homework for the week is the Unit 10 writing exercise on articles. I'll send that to you in a through the blog. I'll send you an email about that. Okay. Now I'm going to pop out here. I'm going to go full screen. Am I? Yeah, I am. All right. So, unfortunately, it's time to go. I have other things to do with my day. My day is just getting started here in Vancouver. Yeah, right. Okay, so Polexia, I'll answer that one question before I go. You're saying I was on the school tennis team. Yeah, because that article is with tennis team, not with school. You're using it as kind of a compound noun, right? The school team, right? Just like the city hospital or something like that. Okay. All right. Anyway, I could just sit here and chat all day, but I've got stuff to do, unfortunately. But it's always a pleasure, guys, to come in here and teach you for an hour. It's a great way to finish my week. It's Friday. It's a long weekend here in Canada, so we get Monday off for Victoria Day. So on Monday, happy Victoria Day to you, wherever you are. And then we'll see you here next week, guys. Thanks for coming. Keep watching the other classes. Keep coming back. Tell your friends. Spread the word. And keep practicing your English. Keep using your articles, making terrible mistakes, and learning from them. Okay? Alejandro, it was your first class. Well, thank you for coming. I'm glad you enjoyed it, or I hope you enjoyed it. I guess you didn't say you did. Cartagena is in the house. Cool. Happy Victoria Day on Monday. French Leo is going to go make an omelet. That sounds delicious. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. We'll see you here next time. Friday, 9 o'clock Vancouver time. All right. Until then, guys, we'll see you. Bye. Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want the full experience of being a student in a Smrt Live class with things like homework and teacher feedback, follow the link and become a premium subscriber. Also, if you want to see more videos from this class, check out our playlist.